Welcome, everybody, to Political Reacts. I'm your host, Information Man, and we're going to get into this right now. This channel is new. Thank you for your support, but here we go. Donald Trump is as despicable as he is. He has literally poisoned the government. He has destroyed the government. They're trying to dismantle everything, and this has tentacles that have gone right into the FBI. And this week, videos have gone viral. They had a congressional hearing, and you had Representative Bennie Thompson, who went in. He G-checked, literally G-checked, and kicked the ass of the FBI when addressing the issue of what is the #1 domestic terrorist group in America. The FBI said that it's Antifa, but we know that Antifa is an ideology. It's a political ideology in which one is what? Against fascism. Okay? It's not a organized group that has a headquarters and some sort of structure to it in the sense that you compare it to a terrorist group that has a certain amount of structure. Representative Bennie Thompson asked very poignant questions of Donald Trump's FBI, which is, where do they exist? Where is their base of operations? And actually, how many members of Antifa are there? And this is the type of propaganda, conspiracy theories that's being pushed by the White House since Trump has gotten back in office, and even when he was in office the first time around. Let's just keep that in mind. But let me let you hear Bennie Thompson confront this FBI agent. And just as a reminder, the FBI cannot identify, based in this video, how many members of Antifa there is, whether it is an organized organization with a base, when it is basically an ideology. You can't kill an ideology, because an ideology doesn't have any one leader. It's based on people believing in a particular political philosophy, in this case, that fascism has to go. And let me just let you see how this FBI agent showed up unprepared for this question. Check this out.
Mr. Gladstein, will you tell me the organizations that pose on the domestic side, two of the organizations, #1, #2, threat to the homeland at this point?
Can you please clarify, like, organizations?
Any domestic terrorist organization that poses a threat to the homeland as we speak.
As you can see, he was trying to act like he didn't know what Representative Bennie Thompson was talking about. He knew exactly what Bennie Thompson was asking him. When people are asked a question and you say it to them clearly, and then they ask you to repeat it, it's because they're trying to figure out what kind of lie they're going to tell, you see. Let's go.
I'd say the first one, President Trump had just announced executive order domestic terrorist organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What does the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing. Right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is the Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Where in the United States does Antifa exist?
Facts.
If it's a terrorist organization and you've identified it as #1.
And let me just say here real quick. He just recently said that Antifa is the #1 domestic terrorist organization based on data. When you use the word data, that was the giveaway. See, he effed up right there. He effed up, and Bennie Thompson caught him on this F up. Because if you're going to say you have data, data should prove out what the numbers are, how many members, maybe even names of prominent members. Where is the base of their operations? How many of them are in various different states in the United States of America or even outside of the country? That's what the data would prove. But he never showed any stats or anything about numbers, because this is just more of the crap that's coming out of Donald Trump's White House day in and day out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, everybody. This is what's coming out of this man's White House day in and day out. This is why this is all, as we say, cap. It's BS.
We are building out the infrastructure right now.
So what does that mean? We trying to get the information. You said Antifa is a terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us as a committee, how did you come to that?
Yeah, tell me too. I want to know.
Where do they exist? How many members do they have in the United States as of right now?
Well, that's very fluid. It's ongoing for us to understand that. The same, no different than.
This is all BS. It's all fluid. Representative Bennie Thompson simply said, give us the scope, the number of members. You don't have to even give me names, but give us some scope. And then he goes into this word, well, it's fluent. What does fluent have to do with how many members? He said in the beginning that they had data to prove out that they were the #1 terrorist group, when Antifa is an ideology. It's not an organized group with a base of operation in some headquarters somewhere.
Al Qaeda and ISIS.
No, I don't want you. I'll ask one question, sir. I just want you to tell us. If you said Antifa is the #1 domestic terrorist organization operating in the United States, I just need to know where they are, how many people. I don't want a name. I don't want anything like that.
Oh, my God.
How many people have you identified with the FBI that Antifa is made of?
Well, the investigations are active.
He says the investigations are active. But no numbers, no raw data, no proof. This is what you get in a clown show administration coming right out of that White House in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, when you've got a guy unqualified like Trump in there.
Sir, you wouldn't come to this committee and say something you can't prove. I know you wouldn't do that.
But he did.
But you did.
But you did. He certainly did come there. No proof. No nothing. Now, I want to play something back on this video, because he said something about there being data. Now, let me play this little part again.
Mr. Gladstein,
Gladstein,
can you tell me the organizations that pose on the domestic side, two of the organizations, #1, #2, threat to the homeland at this point?
Can you please clarify, like, organizations?
Any domestic terrorist organization that poses.
So remember I said that when you have to ask those questions again, you're stalling. It's his stalling techniques. The man sits up here and says that Antifa is the #1 domestic terrorist group, but then he had to ask Bennie Thompson from the very beginning, can you be more specific about this is all, you could tell it was all stalling techniques.
A threat to the homeland as we speak.
I'd say the first one, President Trump had just announced executive order domestic terrorist organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What does the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing.
These are propaganda and lies. He said, from what I'm seeing in my data, but yet he gave no data to make his point, to prove his point, This is why Representative Bennie Thompson made him look bad, made the Donald Trump sycophants look bad, made the Donald Trump White House look bad at the end of the day, because they have no proof of any of the stuff that they're talking about. This is all nonsense. By all means, it's all nonsense, everybody. And this is why we got to keep an eye on everything that's coming out of this White House. Don't trust anything, question everything, and always think critical. And we'll be back with more of these political react videos. Thank you, everyone. If you liked the video so far, subscribe to the channel, share the video. I really appreciate everyone that's here. With that said, this is Political Reacts. Take care. Peace.